It's time to feature a winning ETF. It is beating the S&P 500. It is beating the triple Qs. Well, we're going to hear more about it. And David Schulhoff is with us, founder, CEO of MUSQ Music, this ETF that is up over 20%, as I said, beating the major averages. Tell me a little bit more for the folks that aren't familiar with it.
Yeah, so MUSQ, we are the first pure play music exchange traded fund. We give investors global exposure to the music industry across streaming and content and live music events and ticketing and equipment and technology. We are coming around now on our second anniversary, and look, the companies in the fund are very exciting companies. We have close to 40 holdings in the fund. About half of them are domestic, half of them are foreign. And if you look at our top holdings, Spotify, Live Nation, Tencent Music, CTS Eventim, Yamaha, I mean, all these companies are doing very well. So investors are excited about the fund. It's doing very well, it's performing very well. And I think it's just the beginning for something that's very exciting for investors.
Something totally different. The top holdings, you mentioned some of them, Spotify, Universal, Tencent, CTS, Eventim. These are some of the names that have been doing so well. We're waiting to hear, actually, from Spotify. Do you expect to hear good news?
The Spotify is simply a category killer in streaming. Revenues are up 20% year over year. Paid streaming subscribers are expected to double between now and 2035. If you look at the Goldman Sachs Music in the Air report, music is very undervalued and undermonetized, and that's why you see companies like Spotify raising rates. And so I think this quarter, tomorrow, we're going to see whether or not they raise rates again. And they're also growing a lot in the emerging markets because there's only 8% penetration with internet and paid streaming. It's 38% in the developed markets. And so I think Oppenheimer just upgraded their price target, I think, to 800. And they're expecting, 20% growth on this stock this year. So it's been a great stock to own. It's one of our top positions. And remember, Apple and Amazon are the second and third largest players in streaming, but they're not pure plays. And so Spotify is investing in the platform more than they are.
And first of all, for the folks who don't know David, your history was you were a record executive or a music executive, and now you turn to this, seeing that this could be a great way to invest. And in fact, it may have some economic padding. Folks will listen to music regardless. I mean, because we've had up and downs in the market, and yet this one's a winner.
Music's very uncorrelated. In good times and bad, music, people have continued to subscribe. Look, I have been in the industry for a long time. I've owned everything from Bill Monroe to Death Row. Taylor Swift was my writer when she was 14 years old. We used to own Roy Orbison, Seals and Crofts. And so I wanted to create a product, Nicole, for retail investors. How do you get access to the music industry? How do you get exposure to music publishing, to Springsteen, to Tom Petty, to Paul Simon? So we have all of these music publishers in the fund. We have all companies around the world that are investing across streaming and content. So we're really a very convenient way for investors to bet on the music industry.
How do you like all these tours? I mean, the Eras tour, you mentioned Taylor Swift, was so huge. We've seen a lot of Beyonce's Cowboy tour. This is still huge in the industry and growing.
Massive. I mean, Cowboy Carter, first of all, that's the biggest country tour. It just ended. It's the biggest country tour in history. This summer, I mean, look around. Coldplay obviously got a lot of attention in the last week. Billie Eilish, Kendrick Lamar, Kenny Chesney at the Sphere. So ticket prices continue to go up. People want experiences, and we have all these companies in the fund that bet on them. So from Sphere to Madison Square Garden to Live Nation, of course, to Vivid Seats to CTS Eventim. If you look at the Goldman Sachs report, Music in the Air, live music is growing at 10 to 15% a year. So we're expecting very promising results from Live Nation, which is reporting also in a week.
So, okay, so that's important to follow too. So we have Spotify and Live Nation that will follow. AI, does that fit into the music industry for you, or this ETF in particular?
Well, right. So AI is obviously disrupting everything around technology today. It's giving an opportunity to catalog owners to generate new revenues from their music We're obviously looking at concerns around market saturation and market piracy, but if you look at the reports, it's having very little impact on the existing business. So it's really an opportunity to create more transparency and to create an opportunity to generate more revenues, but the benefits of AI right now far exceed any threats from them.
And then, or do you expand this ETF in some way? First of all, you talked about having around 40 companies, half at home, half abroad. Does this ETF, is it so good you don't touch it, or are you doing other things as well now?
Well, I've been approached around launching a film ETF, possibly a sports ETF. We've even considered launching a Taylor Swift dedicated ETF, around creating a halo effect around all those businesses that have been impacted by the Eras Tour, and doing something similar for Beyoncé. Right now we're just focused on, we think music should have $1 billion in the ETF in the next 3 years. It's really the only and exciting way to get exposure to the global system. It's totally transparent. It trades like a stock, and yes, we've got so many exciting companies in this fund.
Yeah, you did mention a few of them. We talked about CTS, Eventum, Tencent. I mean, I think people know Universal and Spotify. Maybe they don't know CTS, Eventum, or some of the other names that may be in here.
Yeah, so CTS Eventum is like the Live Nation counterpart in Germany. We have all the K-pop stocks in this fund. JYP, SM Entertainment. We have companies like Genie Corp in Kakao. We have companies like Tencent Music. We have companies like HIM in Taiwan. So to get exposure to music, you need to own these holdings in China, in Taiwan, in France, and Germany. And so if you go to our website and you go look at all the holdings we have in our company, in our fund, again, half of them are exciting international companies in those different verticals that investors may or may not be familiar with.
And as it doesn't seem to be stopping, one tour after the next. And in the meantime, when you think about this environment, you still have the 10 years been pretty steady. The market environment's been pretty good at highs. How are you feeling overall about the economy or the market?
Yeah, so look, I think this economy is extremely. I'm very bullish on equities today. I think this administration is very bullish, obviously, on crypto and stable coins, and I think that's lending an opportunity for us to potentially launch a music coin or a music token, which could be an opportunity for investors. And but at the end of the day, we are a very uncorrelated product. We're really not impacted by tariffs. So if there is a tariff war, if you look at the holdings, streaming and content, there's very little volatility around that as it relates to tariffs. In good times and bad, people are consuming music. And when companies like Spotify raise rates, there's very little attrition because they're getting a good deal at $11 a month to get access to 300 million songs. Yeah,
it really is unbelievable how well this ETF has done. It's up almost to 23% to the Nasdaq's 10%, let's say, so more than double. It's great to see you, David Schulhoff, and if you do that music coin or film ETF or any of those other things that come up, make sure you come back and share that with us as well. It's always wonderful to see you. Thanks for the look there also at Spotify and Live Nation, some of the big names we know. David Schulhoff of the Music ETF, really appreciate it.